Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. If you're absolutely in love with the New York Knicks like I am, I recommend clicking that red subscribe button down below and lighting up that post notification bell so you do not miss any future New York Knicks content on this channel. So the New York Knicks just wrapped up their second preseason game as the New York Knicks are getting closer and closer to the 2023-24 regular season, which we tip off against the Boston Celtics at Madison Square Garden. And that game's just going to be absolutely electrifying. The crowd's going to be insane. Hopefully the New York Knicks are able to come out with the W, as the New York Knicks came out with the W in the first game versus Boston, but they were not playing their main guys such as Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. Those are some of the most important players on that Celtics roster. Obviously they have Derek White, Al Horford, and even more, but those big time pivotal guys did not go on to play in that game. So I thought this was an extremely important game for the New York Knicks, even though Jalen Brunson did not play in the second half. Julius Randle and RJ Barrett did play some in the second half, but they weren't playing closing minutes. They didn't really treat this like a regular season game, which I'm okay with. I don't want any injuries, but the Knicks lost this game 121-112. And this was actually a pretty competitive game. I thought there was an extremely great atmosphere to this game. Our fans, or the New York Knicks fans, they're just so loyal to their team, like including me. You get pumped up for anything that involves the New York Knicks. But there were some positives to take away. There was some negatives, but you don't want to overreact too much because it is just preseason. But the way the offense is being run, I think that's just how it's going to be run. There was a couple plays that I really liked. We used RJ Barrett as a screener. He had a very nice cut to the basket that Hartenstein was at the top of the key and made just a bullet pass, just perfect precision, like great anticipation. Found RJ Barrett cutting back door for a reverse layup, and there was another nice read that I believe Hartenstein found quickly. He was not able to finish, but he was able to draw a foul. But the New York Knicks got off to a very nice start defensively and offensively in this game. That the Timberwolves were pretty cold offensively. The Anthony Edwards missed some open threes. Karl-Anthony Towns missed some open threes. Karl-Anthony Towns eventually got some things going in the third quarter. Anthony Edwards was able to work downhill some as well, but he was pretty inefficient in this basketball game. He shot under 45%. He wasn't really engaged defensively, but we know Anthony Edwards is a good player. We know that's not the stat line he's consistently going to be putting out there when it comes to the regular season. But I really like the way when Julius Randle brought up the basketball, he pushed the pace. There was some times that Karl-Anthony Towns was back on defense and he was defending a Grimes. And we know Karl-Anthony Towns isn't a great defender. And sometimes, like when you see the power forward come up with the rebound or center come up with the basketball, come up with the rebound, you would like to see them just throw it ahead or give it up to the guard and make the right play. Well, sometimes I thought, especially in that first half, Randall struggled. He started to settle down a little bit in that third quarter when he knocked down a couple three balls, but it definitely wasn't Randall's best performance. Again, it is just preseason. He did settle for a few threes, and I thought his IQ was kind of like unaware at times when he settled for this mid-range fall away that I wasn't a big time fan of. Again, it is just preseason, but I didn't like Randall's approach offensively. I thought he did force the issue at times, but he did push the pace pretty well in a couple plays in that first quarter to really get RJ Barrett going. That he gave it up to RJ in transition, and RJ had a very tough and one over Anthony Edwards. He had like two straight and ones in this game that I really liked. And so he had a nice physical finish over Anthony Edwards, and RJ Barrett's making his free throws, so that's definitely a positive sign. We're going to be getting into his three-point shooting, but Randall had a nice dribble penetration play in the first quarter as well that he kicked it out to Grimes, and because Grimes is a threat of shooting the three ball, he didn't shoot it extremely well. There was one shot that was nearly a three, but his foot was on the line, but he kicked it out to Grimes. Grimes, nice quick first step, worked down the lane and had a nice dunk. Anthony Edwards chased him off the three-point line, and you just see when you're able to shoot the basketball, really gets the defense to guess any work downhill. And another play in transition, because again, there was some movement tonight, using RJ as a screener, cutting and quickly cutting as well. But I would just like to see this team just run, because we're kind of a predictable offense. There's some nice plays, but there is still a lot of standing around and relying on a lot of read and react. But RJ had this very nice, tough finish in transition that he beat by his first man. He beat his first man, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who I believe actually went to Virginia Tech, very solid player coming out of high school as well. But he beat Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and then he had a very nice finish over Karl-Anthony Towns with the left hand. And that was actually an and one as well, and he was able to knock down the free throw. So RJ Barrett did a very good job drawing contact. That's how a lot of his points came. He had a very nice bucket in transition that from the past, he probably would have forced, try to force a finish around the basket, but he actually stopped on a dime and shot a mid-range jumper. So his finishing was very good. I thought he was playing patient out there. So I really liked that approach by RJ Barrett. And I thought he played pretty solid defensively, had solid footwork. His 3-point shot, though, again, I'm not pretending to be a shot doctor or a coach or anything like that, but his shot just does not look that good from three. Shot 2 for 8. Two of those three balls coming in the second half, one from the corner, one at the top of the key, pretty clean looks. Kind of looks like a line drive. It's just like his mechanics look inconsistent. That I'm going to continue to say, like, how do you expect to be a good shooter if, like, I'm not saying it's all on him. Like, Drew Hanlon probably has some say in this as well. But I feel like something's being tweaked with his jumper every year, and I'm just not a big time fan of it. I just want him to let it fly. Just let it fly, play with confidence. But like, Drew Hanlon probably knows more than me, but his 3-point shot did not look that good tonight. Good to see him knock down a couple of them at least, but he had one that just hit the backboard, one that was really short. He did attempt a step back 3, but it is year 5, so I don't really like talking about like the potential of a step back jumper in year 5. But everyone grows and develops at different times. But he had a very nice read as well, finding Mitchell Robinson rolling to the basket for a dunk, and I thought Mitchell Robinson played like an absolute stud. I thought he played like a stud. By the way, what kept this game competitive? We weren't chasing Naj Reid off the 3-point line. Naj Reid was freaking killing us. He was able to work down the lane as well. But I believe RJ Barrett finished with 23 points in this basketball game. Yeah, RJ Barrett finished with 23 points on 6 of 15 shooting, 2 of 8 from 3, and he was 9 of 12 from the free throw line. So he continues to shoot well from the free throw line. But we weren't chasing Naj Reid off the 3-point line. And when we did, he was able to work downhill. Our interior defense was not good in the fourth quarter when Sims was out there. We were allowing offensive rebounds like crazy, so we had no chance of a comeback, even when McBride was playing very well offensively, creating his own shot, coming off a screen, knocking down a mid-range, knocking down a couple threes from the outside. I really did like McBride's approach because we already know he's a stud defender, but it comes down to his offensive game. But Carlton Towns got going in the third quarter. But Mitchell Robinson, I thought, had a very impressive showing defensively. I know he only had 7 rebounds, but he had like 3 offensive rebounds, so he kept some plays alive. But one play I loved it when Carlton Towns was cutting to the basket in transition. Carlton Towns thought he had an easy dunk, and then Mitchell Robinson doesn't give up on the play, comes out of nowhere, blocks it. Very nice play. Straight hands of fundamental defense as well. When he was just at the rim, didn't foul. Like, yes, I believe he still had 4 fouls in this game, but if you watched Mitchell Robinson from his rookie year, not playing collegiate basketball, out of high school, training for the NBA, his discipline has improved so much that it's just really awesome to see from Mitchell Robinson. So I thought Mitchell Robinson played pretty damn well tonight when he was out there. The interior defense was really good. I thought he was communicating well out there on the floor. Grimes wasn't heavily involved offensively. I did like early on, though, that like Grimes got touches early on. RJ got touches. Randall, Brunson. Overall, it's just like you want to see that consistently throughout the game. And that's not an excuse for Grimes. Like Grimes, there's certain shots he has to obviously knock down. But if we want to reach the full ceiling, I feel like Grimes is going to have to get even better as a scorer or really get even better as a shooter. Like, he's already a good shooter, but even better. And we did learn something tonight that Josh Hart is going to be that backup 4. It looks like we're going to be running with kind of a smaller type of lineup when it comes to backup 4 position. And Jericho Sims might be that 10th man in the rotation. He came off the bench. Credit to Evan Fournier. I thought, like Fournier, there's 29 other NBA teams out there. It looks like Tom Thibodeau talked with Fournier like, all right, probably not going to be getting minutes. We're not giving you rotational minutes, but we'll give you all the minutes you want in the preseason. We'll find a trade for you. And he went out there in 18 minutes, he had 15 points. He knocked down a few 3 balls, nice couple straight line drives to the basket, made this game interesting at times to keep it competitive. But Jordan McLaughlin had a very nice drive. The Timberwolves as a whole, I was kind of jealous of their overall ball movement. Again, we had a couple nice cuts in the offense. Hartenstein made some nice passes. He knocked down a 3. There's one play, he just really bullied Rudy Gobert at the basket that I'm like, yeah, Hartenstein, he really does have that dog mentality. But Dante DiVincenzo, I thought, was awesome defensively in this basketball game. He was clogging the lane. His 4 points, he didn't really attempt a lot of shots. He wasn't heavily aggressive in this game offensively, but defensively he was awesome. If you didn't know, he was 18th in the league last year in deflections, but he clogged the lane very well on this one play, transition dunk. He had this other play that he just absolutely picked Mike Conley's pocket. His screen navigation was amazing, and then he was able to come up with the dunk. So 4 of his points came off of those dunks in transition, coming up with steals, but he's going to get those deflections. He had a very, very nice defensive play on Shake Milton, who's driving to the basket, knocked it out of his hands. So credit to Dante DiVincenzo. I thought he played awesome defensively. Josh Hart's going to play with heart when he's out there. No pun intended. He dove in the crowd. I was like, oh my gosh, please don't be hurt. Sims showed some hustle out there, but I thought he was kind of undisciplined defensively, and he needs to get better kind of putting a body on people at times when it comes to rebounding, so he doesn't allow those offensive rebounds. Like, that occurred a lot in the fourth quarter, that the Timberwolves, the reason they were able to win this game, well, they took, like, we shot 37% from three, but they took way more threes than us, and they killed us when it came to second chance opportunities as well. But quickly, I thought he kind of struggled in the first half. Like, Randall kind of settled down a little bit in the second half, the limited action he played in the second half. RJ got off to a fast start, and I thought he was pretty consistent throughout the game, but he kind of settled down, like, and kind of cooled off a little bit in the second half. Quickly got off to a shaky start, but he started to settle down because there were some plays, like, quickly. I swear there's like 5 straight quickly offensive possessions that he just shot the basketball and didn't look to pass it. But obviously, he's trying to get that contract. I feel it's a huge year for Quickly. If we don't pay him before opening night, he's going to be restricted free agent, and he's going to want to get that money from the New York Knicks. He just is. But we know Quickly's ability is a 3-level scorer, but he didn't look patient out there in the first half. I thought he looked a little sped up, and credit to the Timberwolves for speeding him up, but I didn't like some of the shots he was taking. He like airballed a floater. Did get blocked by Naj Reid. Naj Reid played a fantastic game. I believe he's actually a native from New Jersey, but quickly settled down a little bit in that third quarter. He had that very nice cut that he was able to draw a foul. He finished with his left hand a couple times. It didn't need a screen to create offense at one point, because that's one of the Achilles heels. Like, he's not crazy athletic. He's going to need some screens to really navigate around them and create offense for himself. But I thought he started to settle down a little bit in that third quarter. Didn't play a fantastic game, and I thought he definitely played better defensively and looked very, very poised out there. You didn't get, like, if you're expecting tons of action from Jacob Toppin, you did not get that tonight. You got to see some Isaiah Roby, who did not play in the last game. Thought he looked all right. There was nothing really special about Isaiah Roby's performance tonight. But the Timberwolves were the better team in the fourth quarter. I thought they closed out the game extremely well. Towns got going in the third quarter, which definitely did help them. And something the Knicks need to work on, I mentioned the offensive rebound, but we were too jumpy as well. Like, we were falling for tons of pump fakes. The Knicks need to do better. It's not just RJ. It's not just Randall. Like, overall, the personnel on this team needs to be more disciplined. If you want to be a well-run oil machine defensively, like you already are, but you need to stop falling for those pump fakes. Jalen Brunson, he didn't have any great game. He got to the free throw line a couple times. He missed some shots he usually makes. I'm not going to crap on the dude. Literally last game, he played 6 minutes and ended up with 10 or 11 points. Catch and shoot 3. Caught Pritchard on his heels. Had a very nice drive working downhill as well. Brunson did get beat one time, like, really bad on a screen, and Mike Conley was able to free himself up for a 3. But positive takeaways, RJ drawing fouls, knocking down free throws, that mid-range jumper in transition. Played pretty solid defensively, but he finished well. The 3-point shot, I don't want to say it's a concern, but he just should continue to refine, like, what he's already solid at. And I just want to see him knock down the threes. I just do. I'm not rooting against the guy or anything, but Dante DiVincenzo was a true positive. Mitch Robinson was a positive. Both those guys were studs defensively. Mitch Robinson did a really good job rolling to the basket. Randall didn't play that well. Again, he started settling a little bit in the third quarter, but kind of inconsistencies, tale of two halves for some of these players. But let me know down below your thoughts. Do you think Evan Fournier's performance is going to get him an opportunity? McBride, I thought, played extremely well in the fourth quarter. I loved his approach when he got the screen, knocked down the mid-range, was confident with his 3-ball. Again, we know what he brings defensively, but the overall rest of the team, like, it was just so weird seeing Roby out there, Sims, McBride, Fournier, like, seeing some guys out there that I'm like, we're probably never going to see at the same time on a basketball floor, so they probably have, like, a lack of chemistry. But let me know down below your thoughts on this game. What are your main takeaways? Were you encouraged with this loss? What did you like? What did you not like? And peace out, y'all.